Now, Chapter 8. Peter, Bobby, and Phyllis were very proud of themselves. They told Mother the whole story and she was very pleased. I am very proud of you, my dears. As a reward, I want to give you each a little piece of the garden. So you can plant whatever you like, she said. The children were very happy with their reward and got to work right away. Bobby was using the rake while Peter grabbed it from her. Hey, I'm using the rake, said Roberta. Well, I'm using it now, said Peter. But I was using it first, Bobby said. They both were pulling at the rake when suddenly Bobby let go of it. Peter fell back with a shout and the rake ended up in his foot. The boy started screaming in pain. Mother heard his screams and came outside. What on earth happened? Is everything all right? Mother asked. Then she looked at Peter. Oh my! Phyllis, run and call Dr. Forrest, she said as she lifted Peter and took him inside. Dr. Forrest came and looked at Peter's foot. He'll be okay. He just needs to stay in bed for a week, the doctor said. Mother thanked the doctor and walked him out. Bobby stayed with Peter. Oh, I'm sorry, Peter. Please forgive me, she said to her brother. I forgive you, silly Peter said. Now let me rest. Bobby left, but she wanted to make Peter feel better. Then she had an idea. She knew that Perks had lots of old magazines and newspaper, so she decided to go down to the station and bring some back for Peter to read. Well, of course, dear, anything to make Peter feel better, Perks said, and she gave her a large pile of newspaper and magazines. But the pile was heavy and Bobby had to stop on the way home. She put the newspapers and magazines on the ground and sat down. Then she looked down at the newspaper on top. It read, End of the trial, verdict, sentence. Her father's names followed by sentence to 5 years in prison. Bobby ran straight to Mother and showed her the newspaper. Oh, Mother, is it true? She sobbed. Mother could not hide the secret from the Bobby any longer. Yes, he said, father is in prison. That night in London, those men arrested father. They found some letters in his desk and said he was selling state secrets and that he was a traitor. Mother said in soft voice, Oh, it can't be true. Father is not a traitor, Bobby cried. No, my dear, he is not. Someone else placed those letters on the desk, Mother said as she hugged Bobby. Oh, this is really terrible, Mother. Can't we do anything? Bobby asked. All we can do is to be brave and patient, my dear, Mother said. Now go and rest, my sweet, and please do not tell Peter and Phyllis any of this. Bobby went to her room, but she did not sleep. She tried to think of a solution and finally decided to write a letter to the old gentleman. Maybe he can help father, she thought. Chapter 9. Peter soon became well, and Bobby tried to be brave and patient with her secret. There's going to be a paper chase at the railway today, Perk said. Bobby told Phyllis and Peter, Let's go and see. The paper chase was exciting. A tall boy carrying a bag of paper started to run along the railway lines and then disappeared into the tunnel. As he ran, he left pieces of paper behind. Then about 30 children appeared and followed the paper trail. The last one was wearing a red shirt. Come on, said Peter. Let's go see them come out of the other side of the tunnel. The three children climbed to the top of the hill. They saw the hill boy run out of the tunnel, followed by the children. Wait, someone is missing, said Peter. The boy in the red shirt did not come out of the tunnel. Maybe you missed him, Phyllis said. Now come on, let's have something to eat. I'm hungry. No. Peter's right, said Bobby. We must go into the tunnel to look for him. So the children went into the dark tunnel. Hello, Peter shouted, but no one answered. Then suddenly they saw a boy in the red shirt lying down next to the railway line. His eyes were closed. Is he dead? Asked Phyllis. Don't be silly, said Peter. Then the boy groaned and opened his eyes. I think I broke my leg, the he told them. It hurts so much. Don't worry, we'll help you, said Bobby. Peter, go with Phyllis and get some help. I'll stay with him. Peter and Phyllis ran quickly. What's your name? Bobby asked. Jim, the boy said quietly. And yours? He asked. Roberta, she said. But everyone calls me Bobby. Now stay still, Jim. You are a good little nurse, Bobby, said Jim and smiled. About an hour later, Peter and Phyllis returned with some farmers and they carried Jim home. When mother saw the hurt boy, she immediately called for the doctor. Well, the lad's leg is broken. It will be set. I will set the bone, but he needs to rest for 2 to 3 weeks, Dr. Forrest told mother after examining Jim. Well, children, mother said to the Bobby, Peter, and Phyllis when the doctor left, I think we must write to Jim's grandfather. Jim told me he lives with him. Oh, mother, can't Jim stay here? Peter asked. My sisters are okay, but I miss having a boy around the house. Dear Peter, I guess he could, but we do not have much money and I cannot give Jim everything he'll need. Mother responded in a kind tone. Peter was sad, but he was happy that Jim could stay, if only for a little bit. After a couple of days, there was a knock at the door and the mother answered it. Children, Jim's grandfather is here. He wants to see you. Mother called to the children from the dining room. Bobby, Peter, and Phyllis quickly ran down to meet the man. They looked at him and could not speak. It was their old gentleman. After a while, Bobby yelled, Oh, it's you! How do you do, sir? Very well, young lady, the old gentleman said. Your mother agreed to let Jim stay here until he is better. I'll give her some money to take care of my Jim. She is a very sweet lady. Oh, thank you, Peter shouted and smiled at the old gentleman. Bobby walked to the old gentleman to the front door. You are a good child, my dear. I got your letter, he told her. I am trying very hard to help your father. Oh, thank you so very much, sir, she said, and a tear ran down her cheek. More days went by. Jim was getting better, and children spent a lot of time with him. One day, Bobby said, We haven't waved at the 9:15 train for 3 days. How's it going to take our love to father? So the three children went down to the railway and waited for the 9:15 train. When it finally arrived, the strangest thing happened. When they waved at it, everyone on the train waved back to them. The children were very surprised. How extraordinary, said Peter. Yes, said Bobby. It's as if something is going to happen. A little later, Bobby decided to go to the station. Hello, Missy, said Perks with a smile. Did you read it in the paper? Read what in the paper? Bobby shouted. But Perks disappeared as the 11:45 train arrived at the station. Then she knew. She saw him from a distance and could not believe her eyes. Daddy, Daddy, my daddy! She screamed and ran towards her father. My sweet little girl, what would I do without you? You and your old gentleman. They have caught the man that did this to me, and now I am free, he said, and he hugged Bobby tightly. Oh, father, I'm so happy. We all have missed you so much. Come on, let's go home, she said, taking her father by the hand and leading him to the three chimneys.